young pigeon is called squab. So young pigeon has never flown, so the meat is really tender. Once the pigeon starts flying, then it's the meat is no longer tender, so only used for soup. Today we're in East Vancouver at the Prince restaurant. They're famous for their Cantonese cuisine. So let's go inside and check it out. This is not a replay of another video. We ordered the pigeon again because it's one of our favorites now. So you have the fried salt, and usually it's vinegar or soy sauce on the side. Attack this pigeon holding it without the chopstick. So I put lots of that vinegar on it, put a lot of the pan-fried salt as well. So look how juicy that is. Look at that, look at that. Wow, very tasty. Lots of juices, lots of flavor. So what you do is you dip it in the salt. Sometimes you fry the salt. And also see if this is vinegar or soy sauce. A lot of times you use vinegar. So it gives a nice contrast to the deep fried taste of the pigeon.
Okay.
So we eat squab or young pigeon for dim sum, for dinner, for lunch, anytime. So you see the head of the pigeon right here, so you can tell what kind of bird it is. So we have the pigeon, check the head, so you know it's a pigeon. That's why they keep the head there. And it's got the innards in there. Usually I eat the skin. I've tasted the brains. It's just a soggy mess in there. Some people like it, I think. Just a soft texture in the brain. Some tea first. So I have a special teapot, put the hot water in there. We're still early, but I wish our viewers a happy Chinese New Year, and thanks for your continued support. The Chinese broccoli stir fry with succulent marinated beef. Look at that, look at that. I don't eat a lot of rice, but I gotta have some steamed rice anytime I have Chinese dinner, so it goes good with the Chinese broccoli and the beef. So we've got a big slice of beef. So they slice it thin and marinate it in soy sauce and other sauces. So let's see how it is. Wow, it's ever good. Tender, lots of flavor in the marinade. Wow. Oh, very tender beef. That's a good sign when it's tenderized using the velveting technique. So really tender, lots of flavor with different soy sauce and different sauces. When they stir fry, you get a nice wok carbon sear flavor. You got the crispy, hopefully crispy, crunchy Chinese broccoli. And then you get the beef. I know it's been marinated. It looks tender. You can tell the Chinese veggies, the Chinese broccoli has been stir fried. You see the sear marks on the edges here. So if they just boil it, you don't see the sear marks. Oh, slightly crispy. It's sauce from the beef infused into the Chinese broccoli, also known as gailan. This is the Chinese pork chop with the Hawthorne Berry Sauce. So Hawthorn berry is used for traditional medicine, used in teas, but it's used in gourmet cooking as well. So it crosses over from traditional medicine into gourmet Chinese food. Look at this pork chop. So it's been lightly breaded, deep fried. So it got the Hawthorne Berry Sauce. So let's see how it is. Wow, that's nice. So Hawthorne Berry Sauce adds a nice tangy flavor to the sauce and the pork chop. Pretty good with changing the plates. So I got maybe the fourth time I got the plate changed. So I would rate that as well as any Michelin star restaurant because of the service. When you add the Hawthorne berries, adds a little tartness to the sauce. And I eat my pork chop whole. I don't cut it even though you can. Look at that. Deep fried chicken. So they bring it out in a hot steel pot. Keeps it nice and hot. So freshly deep fried, nice color on the skin. So we always compare deep fried chicken to the deep fried chicken at the Silver Dragon in Calgary. Just give this a try. Sometimes I do away with the manners. I eat my chicken with my fingers. So deep fried chicken, nicely deep fried, probably marinated in sauces. So when you eat it, see if it's crispy. The skin is really lightly crispy. The white meat is moist. That's a good sign of a good deep fried chicken. Attention to detail. They heat up this metal pot, so it keeps the chicken hot. So it's cooled off a bit now, so I can show you. So that's a little added special touch. Attention to detail. Try some of the juices from the chicken. Is that very good? It's got the salt from the skin when it's baked. Goes right into the juices. It's good. You got this sweet. You got this sweet dessert. I call it a soup, but it's actually you got a sweet dessert here. 哥哥叫什么？南瓜。南瓜。Okay. Thank you. Namqua. Okay. Thank you. So this is some kind of a pumpkin dessert. Pumpkin. Yes. Oh yeah, sweet potato. Yes, I see it. Yeah, very good. So nice sweet dessert. Looks like a soup, but it's actually a dessert. So this is a nice touch for the dessert. You got an almond cookie. So you got a nice almond cookie here. You got the glutinous rice with the bean paste in the middle, rolled in coconut. Real nice touch to include in the dinner. Well, one thing I like to explain is how I rate restaurants and Chinese food. So the first criteria to be a best Chinese food or best restaurant on my list is the wok hei, the carpet and sear flavor and the stir fry. So if they lack that, they don't make my grade. So even Michelin star restaurants, Michelin recommended restaurants, if they don't have that wok hei, they don't qualify in my list of best Chinese food or best Chinese restaurants. The other thing I rate is on the taste of the food, the flavor, the freshness, and then I also rate Chinese food based on traditional recipes. Sometimes they stray away too much from the traditional recipe. So those are three criteria that I use to rate restaurants for Chinese food. So even if they're Michelin star or Michelin recommended, they don't necessarily make the grade. I've had Chinese food in China on the street food. Sometimes they have 200 years of tradition behind it, and they actually beat the Michelin star restaurants in terms of flavor, in terms of taste. So a little bit different rating system. I don't go by what other people think. I do take recommendations. I do check out what's popular. And I know a lot of restaurants in Vancouver, they're better than Michelin star. Leftovers here, 3 containers for leftovers. Lots to take home to eat. So be sure to come down here to the Prince Restaurant here in East Vancouver. Today we have a special dish for you. This is my recipe for Beijing pork chops. It's got a sweet, slightly tangy, delicious sauce. So this is a real delicious recipe, so let's get started. So we're just going to cut the pork chops into smaller pieces. So we're going to leave the bones in, so some of the pieces will have a piece of the bone on it. So we're just going to cut like this. You can use the spare ribs. You can use pork loin, which doesn't have the bone. The bone is pork loin. You can use chicken. You can use different kind of meats. The pork chop pieces, you can deep fry them, or you can pan fry them and use air fryer. So the way I'm going to do it is just going to pan fry them. So I'm just going to coat the pork chops in cornstarch. So I got about maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of cornstarch here. So I'll mix that together. 3 or 4 tablespoons of cooking oil on the pan. I use peanut oil. So when you cook the pork chops, cook it at medium heat. So cook it at lower heat because you want to have a good crust on the pork chops. Turn them over, and then it takes about maybe 5 or 6 minutes on each side. To make the sauce, preheat a pan at medium to medium-high heat. Put 3 tablespoons of cooking oil. I use peanut oil. And then I'm going to put about a tablespoon of chopped ginger and garlic. Now we're going to add 1 chopped onion. So onion is an aromatic, so it'll bring out some nice flavor in the sauce. So just grill the onions for a few minutes, and then add a cup of water, or more if you want more sauce. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt. I like to use the natural sea salt. And then I'll add 2 tablespoons of ketchup, or if you have tomato sauce, you can use that. I like to add a tablespoon of HP sauce, or lean parent sauce for added flavor. To give the sauce a nice rich red color, I use a natural ingredient, which is the beet powder. So put a teaspoon of beet powder in your sauce. To sweeten the sauce, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, or you can use regular white sugar. As you bring the sauce to a boil, mix 1 tablespoon of cornstarch in a 1/4 cup of water. Then add the slurry solution to thicken the sauce. You might add more or less of the slurry to get the desired thickness for your sauce. Now turn down the heat as you put your pork chops into the pan. As soon as you put all the pork chops in the pan, turn them over so each pork chop is well coated with the sauce. Now it's time to serve the pork chops onto a nice plate. Be sure to smother the pork chops with a nice sauce with the onions. There you have it, my version of Beijing pork chops that you will be proud to serve your family and friends. Enjoy. Now you can order the products and ingredients that I use in my cooking videos. Just click the link below in the description for the Chinese cooking accessory guide. You can order everything online, including the wok that I use and some of the equipment that I use. Thanks for checking out my video, and please give me a thumbs up, and be sure to check out some of my other videos on this channel, and please subscribe. If you get a chance, check out my other channel, the award-winning Chinese cooking channel.